The Tate-LaBianca murders represent one of the most notorious and chilling chapters in American criminal history. Occurring over 2 nights in August 1969, these brutal killings were orchestrated by Charles Manson and his followers, collectively known as the Manson family. The murders not only shocked the nation, but also marked a significant turning point in the perception of the 1960s counterculture, revealing the dark undercurrents that lay beneath the era's ideals of peace and love. But first, subscribe to our channel for more content, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Charles Manson was born on November 12, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio. His childhood was tumultuous. He was abandoned by his mother and spent much of his youth in reform schools. By the age of 22, he had already begun a life of crime, which included car theft and other offenses that led to multiple incarcerations. In the late 1960s, Manson moved to California and began to attract a group of followers, primarily young women drawn to his charisma and countercultural ideals. He preached a philosophy that combined elements of free love, communal living, and apocalyptic visions, which he termed Helter Skelter, a concept inspired by a Beatles song that he believed foretold an impending race war. Manson and his followers settled at Spahn Ranch, an abandoned movie set in California. Here, they lived a nomadic lifestyle characterized by drug use and communal living. Manson exerted significant control over his followers, manipulating them into believing they were part of a greater mission. On August 8, 1969, while filmmaker Roman Polanski was away in Europe, pregnant actress Sharon Tate hosted friends at her home located at 10,050 Cello Drive in Los Angeles. Among her guests were celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, her boyfriend Wojciech Frykowski, and an 18-year-old friend named Stephen Parent. At approximately midnight on August 9th, Manson instructed Tex Watson and 3 female followers, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian, to carry out the murders at Tate's residence. Watson shot Parent as he attempted to leave the property. The remaining guests were rounded up in the living room where they were tied up. The brutality of the attack was shocking. Sebring was shot and then stabbed. Frykowski was stabbed multiple times. Folger attempted to escape, but was pursued and killed. Tate was ultimately stabbed 16 times before her blood was used to write "pig" on the front door. The gruesome nature of these killings sent shockwaves throughout Los Angeles and beyond. The media frenzy that followed heightened public fear and paranoia about safety in their own homes. The night following the Tate murders, Manson selected Leno and Rosemary LaBianca as targets for another brutal attack. Leno LaBianca was a supermarket executive who lived with his wife in Los Feliz. Manson accompanied Watson and several female followers to the LaBianca home on August 10th. After tying up Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, Watson stabbed Leno multiple times with a bayonet while Krenwinkel and Van Houten attacked Rosemary. The killers left behind messages written in blood on the walls, such as "Death to Pigs" and "Helter Skelter," further emphasizing their chaotic ideology. As news spread about both sets of murders, public fear escalated dramatically. The notion that random acts of violence could occur even among Hollywood's elite shattered the illusion of safety that many had felt during the idealistic 1960 seconds. In the wake of the murders, investigators initially struggled to connect the 2 crime scenes due to their seemingly random nature. Initially, suspected motives included drug deals gone wrong or personal vendettas against Hollywood figures. The investigation took a significant turn when members of the Manson family were arrested for unrelated crimes at Spahn Ranch later that year. During interrogations, Susan Atkins boasted about her involvement in the Tate murders to fellow inmates, leading authorities to connect her to both murder scenes. By December 1969, all primary suspects had been arrested. Manson himself was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, despite not directly participating in either set of killings. The trials for Manson and his followers became sensationalized media events filled with bizarre courtroom antics. Manson famously carved an X into his forehead during proceedings as an act of defiance. The trials began in June 1970 for all defendants involved in both sets of murders. Key witness Linda Kasabian testified against her former cult members in exchange for immunity from prosecution. In January 1971, Manson, along with Watson, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Van Houten, were found guilty on multiple counts of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Initially sentenced to death, their sentences were commuted to life imprisonment after California abolished capital punishment in 1972. The Tate-LaBianca murders profoundly impacted American culture by exposing vulnerabilities within society's perception of safety during a time characterized by hope for peace and love among youth movements. Media coverage surrounding these events highlighted America's fascination with true crime narratives while simultaneously instilling fear within communities nationwide, leading many to purchase security systems or firearms as precautions against potential violence. The Tate-LaBianca murders had a profound impact on American culture and society. The brutal nature of the crimes shocked the nation and led to a renewed focus on crime prevention and law enforcement. The case also highlighted the dangers of cults and charismatic leaders who manipulate their followers for nefarious purposes. The story of the Tate-LaBianca murders has been recounted in numerous books, films, and documentaries. The case continues to fascinate the public, serving as a reminder of the darker aspects of human nature and the devastating consequences of violence. The Tate-LaBianca murders remain etched in history as a grim reminder of how quickly ideals can devolve into chaos when influenced by charismatic but dangerous leaders like Charles Manson. This chapter not only altered perceptions about safety, but also served as a cautionary tale regarding susceptibility to manipulation within vulnerable populations. The legacy of the Tate-LaBianca murders serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the need to address the root causes of violence. The case continues to captivate the public imagination, offering insights into the darker aspects of human nature and the devastating consequences of unchecked violence.